Hi, everybody, and thank you for listening to the How to Scale an Agency podcast. I'm here with Ivan Khan. Ivan, thank you for being on the show.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
And we were just talking before about your focus with Crowd Create on NFT and crypto marketing. Obviously, extremely niche. You said you started in that niche in 2017 in terms of actively doing marketing. But could you share a little bit about your journey so far over the last 4 years?
Yeah. So those 4 years have been pretty wild to say the least. And so it's a funny story. We got into crypto. So before we got into crypto, 2014 is when we started kind of doing like traditional marketing agency type stuff. And we dove into crypto in 2017. I was actually at a networking event and this guy came out of the bathroom. He looks like Drake and he comes out and he goes, "What the hell are you all doing? Like, you should be investing in Bitcoin." And we're like, "Dude, we're too busy doing the agency stuff." And then like a few months later, it kind of hit me. It's like this is truly game-changing technology. And so I remember, because we have a background in growth, a lot of these crypto companies back then, this is before the 2018 crash, they're just on high growth trajectory, right? Like they're like, how can I get as many eyeballs on my project as quick as possible?
Yeah.
So a lot of our marketing strategies kind of translated over. So
Mm-hmm.
that worked out very well. And it's funny because a lot of our clients that we worked with in the past, they started to do crypto companies. That was like 2017, 2018, where it was like kind of wild. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like everybody started transitioning there.
That's wild. And one thing that a lot of the agencies I have on my show talk about is how, they focus on steady growth. Unlike SaaS companies, a lot of the agencies I have on my show are focused on either handing the agency off to their kids or harvesting for the next 10 years because it's just profitable. But they're usually doing that because the businesses that they work with are also usually growing at a pretty steady pace. They tend to work with a lot of traditional businesses, X, Y, or Z, and you're working with businesses that are all at least supposed to be growing quickly from what it sounds like. How do you think about the growth of your agency, given that a lot of the companies you work with are focused primarily on growing extremely fast?
It's humbling, um, to say the least. It's
Yeah.
wild. So in the world, I guess the way I see it is in crypto, just recently, I think in the past 6 months, it's gotten to the point where projects are flush with capital. There's so much money pouring into crypto that they don't even need the traditional VCs. Um, I think Jason Calacanis like
Yeah.
famously said, he was like, "It's the first time someone pitched to me. He didn't even want my money. He's like, I have too much money." So it's interesting you asked that question, because a lot of the crypto companies, they're heavily funded. They're literally
Right.
disrupting technology, and when they're looking for like a marketing agency, they're looking for speed,
Right.
like speed, existing relationships. And since we jumped in only in 2017, but even through 2018 when it crashed, like we were still building those relationships. We were
Right.
still, pushing it through, working on our SEO, perfecting our services, and we stuck it through. And now it's 2021 and it is
It is
absolutely
definitely
bonkers.
definitely wise investment. But have you seen? I mean, you mentioned, and I'll just mention for the audience that you guys are a seven-figure agency. I don't need to get so much into your actual revenue numbers unless you're willing to share. But honestly, the main thing would be I'm mainly curious: have you seen the upside from this? Like, have you shared in the upside of some of the clients that you work with? Do you guys ever do like a performance-based model or anything like that because of the massive growth of some of these projects?
So I'll say this, because we aren't a broker dealer, we can't take these
Hmm.
performance kickers. But and this is what we've done. I mean, this is what okay. So we learned in the past, and we kind of would break up some of our marketing services, and we would take like a token allocation. That was in 2017, 2018.
Hmm.
We learned the hard way that some of those tokens turned into absolutely nothing. So fast forward this
Yeah.
time around, we kind of learned from that. And so now when clients come to us, we're saying, "Hey, just hire us as your agency on record." That's one transaction. If I like
Hmm.
your project so much, I'm just going to be an investor, like almost
Right.
as if they're completely separate buckets. So you send me money for a service, I literally send you money back as a traditional investor. And as an agency, so this is some pretty cool things, but you know, the companies that have trajectory and like they have an interesting idea, they come to marketing agencies to help them grow. But that also gives us like early access to deals. So
Mhm.
like for example, we invested into a company called Yield Guild Games.
Mm,
This is and at the same right, I think it was actually earlier than Andreessen and Horowitz. Um,
mm.
and you can calculate the gains on that, but it was pretty massive because you come in at like basically pre seed.
Yeah, pre-seed. So, I mean, if everyone is on the same mindset, which I think a lot of people are at this point in 2021, that crypto for sure, but NFTs are, I think there's still some debate. I personally think they're the future for sure, but crypto for sure is the future of commerce, future of business. Let's say, is it wise for every single digital marketing agency to start jumping into doing some sort of marketing for crypto companies or people focusing on crypto because of the potential upside? Or is this a really difficult space to actually get into and you feel like you're very niche and that's why you're able to get these clients? I mean, is there any way for anybody listening to here to start marketing for crypto companies and actually doing it successfully?
I would say, I mean, I'm a true believer in the technology, like blockchain technology. I think is going to trump literally like overwrite existing technologies. So if I were to talk to any existing agency, I would say you better get started
Yeah.
because like let's just say like Coinbase today, I mean that's what, you know, these banks were trying to be. Now Coinbase is just going to take it over. I don't know if you heard the news, but crypto.com is now
Yeah.
the
Staples Center.
the new Staples Center. Like they are literally becoming the household names of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like there you can't just think of it as Bitcoin or Ethereum. You have to think of it as these are NFTs. Like that's one thing. There's DeFi, digital finance, decentralized finance. There's GameFi. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's these play to earn models where people in other countries like the Philippines, they're making more money from playing a blockchain game than their traditional jobs.
Yeah. It is wild.
It's
It's fun.
wild.
Yeah.
And then you have shipping companies using blockchain.
Right.
Like I know like in China, like the pork manufacturing, now they use QR codes that have everything tracked in their blockchain. Like
Yeah.
it is it's almost beyond it is already past that point where you have to think about getting into crypto NFTs. Like the
You
future
have
is
to.
here. Get
Yeah.
in.
Well, yeah, and also just because it's pegged to so many other asset classes now that would at this point probably wouldn't be stupid enough to put money into something that they feel is going to drop 90%, right? Like I see that with Tesla getting, putting I think it was what originally 1.4 billion dollars into Bitcoin, right? Partly probably a publicity stunt, but also it worked, right? They made massive gains off that. And so you start thinking about it's like how many people are now pegged to Bitcoin or other types of cryptocurrencies. The really big breakthrough, I think, will be once countries might start releasing their own coins to make it so they can actually track a lot of the things that are happening. Which we'll see how that pans out, but it'll be kind of interesting if the United States issues their own cryptocurrency and forces everyone to start using it. That would
I'm
be
I learned about an interesting project. So this is kind of a tangent, but I
yeah.
think it's called the Constitution DAO. So
Oh,
people are trying
this
to
is
pool.
yes, I know exactly what you're gonna say. This is what's been running through my mind for the last like 6 months. Is it basically you you form some sort of like principles, guiding principles, like how the society should function? Everyone votes on it. Essentially, is that what it is?
So there is that, but this particular project, they're pooling money to try to buy the actual constitution from Sotheby's, like the actual
Oh wow,
pages.
that not what I was thinking.
But I mean, it's interesting because like this whole change, and I think this really goes back to like the agencies, like agencies
Yeah.
yesterday, it's about, those eyeballs getting in front of Instagram influencers, getting in front of, you know, um, let's say like a Nike activation, like it's at a mall. But now, like what we're seeing is that these crypto influencers are the gatekeepers to this new generation. We have something called a metaverse, is
Hmm.
where new brands are going to live now. So
Yeah.
instead of like putting a billboard, now you're going to be in the virtual world. And also, a lot of these projects are now being run by a community, which in that case, like a DAO,
Right.
those users are now the community providing the governance. So it's like marketing is also shifting because now
Right.
your target is it's different. It's not an ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not a billboard. It's shifting yet again.
Yeah, the community focus is definitely pretty interesting. I remember when we were in 2017 when we first started our agency, we were marketing for a token called Elixir, and it got all the way up to like $80 million market cap, and then crashed to nothing. But we were managing a community of like 2,000 members, and it was so interesting as an experience. We actually also, and this is also why I wanted to talk about agencies doing work for crypto companies, because you never know. It could literally make you a millionaire overnight. Like one thing that I was kind of dumb enough not to do. I mean, hindsight's 2020. I was getting paid in NKN token, and NKN now is listed on Coinbase. But when we were getting paid for them, like our stake would be worth like $2 million. It shot up for like 3 months, and then it
Uh-huh.
crashed again to where it is now. But like we literally would have gotten, like I would have had $1 million cash right now in my bank account if I just kept, doing that. But
Incredible.
I didn't
Incredible.
didn't stick to it. But that was for our marketing agency. That was directly to our marketing agency. So I can only imagine what you are doing. And like I said at the beginning of this call, like this is way too short of an interview for the amount of topics that we could probably discuss. I'm gonna have to get you back on in like quarter or something.
Oh, I'd be happy to do so. But one quote. So we host these conferences and it's crypto focused. We had Mark Yusko, who's from Morgan Creek Capital. He's always on CNBC.
Mm.
This is kind of my takeaways. He's like, we are sitting at probably the greatest wealth creation opportunity of our lifetime. It's like,
Yeah.
you better grab it
Yeah.
because it might not come around until you're not even here anymore. So that's
Yeah,
the way I
that
see it.
it's so true. And I mean, if you think about it, it's like uh I mean, I don't really like the context of this example because there's a lot of historical negative implications about it. But if you think about like, when the conquerors, let's say, conquistadors discovered gold, right, in the New World, that was just such a monumental asset that was being derived, right? That was completely different than anything else that was in traditional world. You can think about that as what's happening now. Like the people who get the gains from cryptocurrency or all these new forms of um, value are going to be, I think, astronomically more wealthy than everyone else, just because of the incredible outsized returns of having something that has baked in network effects and is incredibly valuable, right? Like it's just like nothing else you've seen before. So I know I'm starting to try to get more in the space as well, and kind of wish I had stuck to it a little bit longer than I did. So hindsight's
Yeah.
2020. But
Well, I
I know
guess
you got.
when, oh
Oh, I was
yeah,
gonna say, I know you got to jump, so I wanted to jump into like some final rapid fire questions here. How old are you?
I am 36 years old.
36. And then the agency's 2013. You said was when it started.
2014 was when it started.
Okay. Any book recommendations?
Book recommendations.
Business book,
Uh
yeah.
it's I gotta look at it's called like some AI. Hold on, give me 1 second. This is a really good one because I think there's also a connection with AI.
Mm.
AI superpowers.
Oh yeah, yeah. By I forgot his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's the
It's a
red
good
book.
one.
Yeah. Is your plan to sell the agency or harvest it?
So my goal is actually to have the agency continue, and I can focus on running the fund.
So harvest. Nice. That's awesome. And how would you value? Last question. How would you value your agency? Like would you value it like a multiple on revenue because of the companies you work with, or how would you value it? Like multiple, I guess. Like usually people say like 5x EBITDA, 2x revenue, something like that.
It's interesting because I get asked that question, and I'm actually seeing that the value of the agency is the access that we get, and
Hmm.
the multiples of that are like it could be hundreds.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you get, I mean, a lot of agencies don't look at it this way, but the way I see it is if you have a successful agency, more money is to be made in the investments that you get access to rather than just the agency itself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this has been such a great call. I'm excited to regroup with you after this, but I know you shared a bunch of value for the listeners. Thank you so much, Ivan, for being on the show. I know you got to jump, so I'm going to cut it short here. But thank you everybody for listening. This is Ivan Kahn. Is there anywhere that they can reach you, Ivan? Is just crowdcreate.com if they're interested in getting into crypto marketing or they have a crypto company?
Yeah, go to crowdcreate.us. You can
Oh,
email
.us.
me. Here's my email address here, Ivan at crowdcreate.us. You
Yeah.
can also follow me on Twitter. It's Meta Ivan. So appropriately after the metaverse. It's Meta Ivan Khan. So my full name.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ivan. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.